Some people are going to cling to a version of you that they remember or that they do not want to let go of. Okay. So I would hope that some of us have changed. I would hope that most of us have grown. You know what? We're still going to mess up. We're still going to make mistakes because we're human beings and that's what we do. And that's how life works. Some people, though, are going to hold on to some things you did when you were younger or that you did 5 years ago. And they're going to hold on to it. And they're going to sit there and going to be like, yeah, that's cool and all, but do you remember when you did this? See, they're still trying to hold some sort of power. What you're not going to do is get defensive. You're not going to be like, well, that's not, okay, that was years ago. Be like, yeah, I did do that. Yep, that's exactly what happened. It's a good thing that I've grown from that. Do you see how that response is? Not, oh my God, can't you let it go? Oh my God, why are you still bringing that up? First of all, people who are still willing to bring that up will never see you as anything other than that. You're just going to have to accept that. They are dedicated to only seeing what it is that they want to see. That's it. It's all they want to see, and that's all they're going to see. It doesn't matter how many languages you put it in and how many times you try to change it. It ain't going to matter. Okay, so what you got to remember is instead of getting reactive, which is exactly actually what they want you to do, they want to see you squirm. Just accept it. Yeah, I did do that. I don't sit there and go into some weird guilt thing. If you did it, you did it. And very often you did it because that's what you knew then at the time and you didn't have the tools any other way. And if you did, it didn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to embrace that. Hey, did you do this? I sure did. It's a good thing I'm grown from that. I needed that, boy. They're going to be like, oh, yeah. What do you say to that? What do you say when someone admits to it? Yes, I did. Good thing I did that because, whoo, man, I learned so much from it. They can only be so critical. I mean, yeah, but it was really bad then. It depends on how you look at it. Unfortunately, some people got hurt. However, you know what? I'm glad I'm better now. And then that's it. Leave it be. Leave them be. Leave them be. Be willing to let them talk to a blank space. Let them talk to a blank space. Don't let them get the last word. Okay, well, I still think it was wrong. Walk right on off. Because again, we've all done stuff. Let's not pretend as though we're walking around holier than thou. We've all done some shady stuff. I don't care what it was. I don't care if it was super shady or a little shady. It still had some shade. So don't get extra with that either. Because I can tell you right now, I know like where I live, it's more of a rural area. I grew up in the hood, in the ghetto. And there's some people here that moved from not too terribly far. And it's like they forget where they came from. They start getting all judgy. And I think, don't get judgy because you were there. It's like they want to forget that part of them. The reality is that's their history. Doesn't define them, but it's a historic area. I'm not going to bring it up. I mean, we might tease. I might be like, oh, do you remember at the keg party? Oh my God. It's different though, because I was there. So they know that there's not going to be a level of judgment because I was there with them. Right. And so what you got to remember is when people are bringing up that version of you, they don't care what you've done now. They don't care. They don't care. So stop trying to make it make sense. The more you defend yourself is the more that you look insecure. Confidence owns it. Yes, I sure did. You did that. I did. Good thing I did it though, because I learned. I'm still going to go back to that. It's a great response. So when you allow yourself that time to utilize responses and accept it and walk into it, that's where the confidence comes. And I'm telling you, people have no idea how to handle that because at that point, they want you to go into defense mode and try to justify your actions. And they're looking down upon you like, yes, you were terrible. You weren't terrible. You did what you did. Listen, we're all going to make poor choices at times. You might as well just accept that. And be careful of trying to throw somebody's past up to them as well. Because there's a version, the old version of ourselves that people are just not going to want to let go of. I mean, they are just going to drill it home and they're going to tell people. I know you've seen that before. I know you've seen it and even experienced it before. Somebody will be like, oh man, I'm glad that she's your friend now. Woo, she was a terrible friend like 20 years ago. What? Stay in your lane. Don't get defensive though. Just, yeah, I was, man. Woo. I was going through a lot then. I wasn't good for myself or anybody else. Own it. People don't know what to say to it because you're taking your power back. See, the problem is you think that by defending yourself, you're protecting your power, your peace. You're not. You are not. And again, if someone is dedicated and determined to see this version of you that happened or the things that you did, it ain't gonna matter. If you could save the world, you could save every animal on the planet, you could provide people $100 million in their account, there's still going to be a critic on you. And they're going to be a critic based on what you did in the past. And then they're going to say, well, I guess you're trying to make up for all that stuff you did when you were younger. They're focusing on you so they don't have to focus on them. Know this. They're focusing on you and they'll never see the growth in you. They're always going to see this version that's like frozen in time. And especially if they feel some kind of slight, like if they felt like you didn't show up for them or you didn't do this, they're going to hold on to that. See, when you get into a healed state, you let things go. Like it is what it is. Okay. Some people are like, I didn't like that. They were a total jerk to me. We're here 25 years later. Why are we still focused on somebody being a jerk to you? If they can't let that go, and they ain't got to rock with you. They don't have to be friends with you. But if they can't let that go, that says way more about where they are in their healing journey. And they're not on it. It's not a judgment. It's a fact. Because when you're on that healing journey, you realize that you also did some things, even if it wasn't the same thing that that person did. And then you have to ask yourself, do you want somebody to think of you at 21 years old at 60? Because my guess is you're very different. Do you want someone to hold out some things you did as a teenager at 30 years old? Are we there? That's the control that people have over you. That's the level of control in which they can provide for themselves. That's the only thing that they got. When they lose control over you and they lose that connection, I guess, to being able to control the narrative, they don't like it. They don't like it. So the only thing to do is try to tear you down. And it's called temperature dropping. So think about this. As you're improving, right, the temperature in the room goes up. So let's say you were at 50. Let's say they're at 60. You were at 60. You're up at like 75 now. I mean, you're cruising. You're trying to get there. They're still at 60. So the moment they see you and they go, why are they at 75? Oh, no. I'm going to bring them back down to 60. So now they've said something about you and they're trying to bring that temperature down so they can feel this way instead of feeling inferior. You're not making them feel inferior. You're living your life. You've moved on from your past. They haven't. Don't sit there and try to bring them with you, and don't try to bring them up to that level and let them believe what they want to believe. Okay. If you still think I'm 20 years old and I'm 50, okay. It doesn't matter how much you plead your case. It ain't going to matter. It's not going to matter. So keep that in mind the next time you find yourself wanting to defend yourself because somebody still thinks you're 16 years old. Always says stuff on them, not on you. And don't live in guilt and regret and shame and all this stuff. You have to learn your lessons. And the only way you're going to learn lessons is from making mistakes. Sometimes that means hurting people. Sometimes that means poor choices in general. Sometimes that's what that means. So you better accept that for what it is, because then and only then can you drop that need of repentance. You don't need everybody's level of repentance for you. You learn from it. If you need to say sorry, one time. No apology tour, one time. And keep it moving. And if they can't let it go, leave them where they sit. Sometimes you got to disconnect from people because they're connected to that old version and they never want to see the new version of you. Ever. Don't let their naysaying get in your head about the things that you still need to do or that you did based on the fact of that old behavior of the person that you were. Baby, embrace it, because you wouldn't be growing if you didn't go through that. Don't let their chatter make you think that something's wrong with you because you did shady things. Welcome to the world of being a human being. You learn from it, you get better, you continue to get better, and that's how you life, baby.